Hello, and welcome to our new moon in Libra Zen tarot card reading. It is a Friday here in Cincinnati. It's gorgeous. I just made the podcast and I'm going to do this video and then make a new moon meditation. So Libra energy is so sweet today and so balanced, and yeah, it feels really fun. So I'm going to pull some cards from from the OSHO Zen tarot deck, and then maybe a couple other ones. We'll see as we go along. All right, each month I do this for three things: for the collective now, the individual now, and then the highest possibilities for this next lunar cycle that we are moving into. If you haven't watched my past videos, it might be fun to go back and look at some of those and just see the threads, the patterns that have been presenting themselves. For today, I shuffled. I'm going to split the deck a little bit, and then we'll see what the energy for this next lunar cycle looks like. Feels good to me. I mean, I know there's a lot that's about to happen with elections here in the United States and climate change being a really big part of the conversation, COVID, numbers going up. There's a lot that is moving. So a little fun, a little play as we tune into Libra energy might be a good thing. Okay. Top of the deck, the collective now. I have my notes over here, so I keep looking. The collective now. Projections. Oh my God. Could that be any more perfect for where we are at this time as a humanity here in the elections? Oh my God, that's so good. All right, we'll come back to that. And then the individual now I'm going to take from the bottom of the deck. Courage. Oh, I love this card. Courage. So good. The individual person. And then the highest possibilities, I'm going to cut the deck again. And then I think I'm going to count card number 11. Oh, the highest possibilities for the next lunar cycle, innocence. Isn't that amazing? And isn't that Libra energy? I mean, the black and white balance, the play, the delight, the beauty. Oh my God, that's just perfect. So perfect. Okay, well, let's dive into these a little bit, why don't we? And see what see what guidance is going to come through. I feel like we've had innocence before, but no, I don't see it in this. It must have been in one of the older ones. All right, friends, as I scratch my head. All right, let's talk about projections. I mean, seriously, like, that's just so good. Do you notice how you can hardly even know what to focus on? Maybe it's because I have it too close to the camera. Not really. It's hard to see what to focus on because you can see the human, you can see the man. I mean, I'm assuming you guys can see this. You can see the man over here and the woman over here, or the traditional roles of the man and the woman, and how they're looking each other in the eye, and they're maybe talking, maybe she's talking, he's just listening. I don't know. Maybe that's not how your relationships go. But then there's this other whole thing happening here. You see that? Where it looks almost like he's looking at her lips to see what she's saying. She's trying to look at his eyes. I mean, I don't feel like they're really looking at each other with those projections. Yeah. Oh man, that's a powerful card. All right, I think I'm going to read a little bit to you because maybe we need a little grounding with this projections energy. Let me see if I can find it in here because I never know what we're going to pull. Projections, where would that be? It's always harder to find when I'm trying to find it while someone's watching. You know, if I just open my book, it's like I go right to it, but then I can't find it. Isn't that hysterical? Where is projections? 7. Here it is. Okay. All right, let me read a little bit to you about projections. Here we go. All In a cinema hall, you look at the screen. You never look at the back. The projector is at the back. The film is not really there on the screen. It's just a projection of shadow and light. The film exists just at the back, but you never look at that. And the projector is there. Your mind is at the back of the whole thing, and the mind is the projector. But you always look at the other because the other is the screen. Oh my God, this is totally what I was saying in my podcast today about mirrors, and everything that comes up as our judgment is actually of other people is actually something we are working through on our own. And so can we turn like the mirror to look back at ourselves instead of pointing the finger at everybody else? I love alignment. I love when it all just like flows together so beautifully. When you are in love, the person seems beautiful, no comparison. When you hate, the same person seems the ugliest. And you never become aware of how the same person can be the ugliest and the same person can be the most beautiful. So the only way to reach to truth is to learn how to be immediate in your vision, how to drop the help of the mind. This agency of the mind is the problem because mind can create only dreams. Through your excitement, the dream starts looking like reality. If you are too excited, then you're intoxicated. Then you are not in your senses. Then whatsoever you see is just your projection. And there are as many worlds as there are minds, because every mind lives in his own world. So good. All right, here's the commentary. This is the part I think you're really going to love. The man and the woman in this card are facing each other, yet they are not able to see each other clearly. Each is projecting an image they have constructed in their minds, covering the real face of the person they are looking at. All of us can get caught up in projecting movies of our own making onto the situations and the people surrounding us. It happens when we are not fully aware of our own expectations, desires, and judgments. That word, judgments. Instead of taking responsibility for them and owning them, we try to attribute them to others. A projection can be devilish. He does sort of have this devilish thing happening down here in his chin. It can be devilish or divine, disturbing or comforting, but it is a projection nonetheless. A cloud that prevents us from seeing reality as it is. The only way out is to recognize the game. When you find, I'm telling you, it's like Osho talked to me before when I was doing the podcast and then said, hey, I'm going to bring you this card. You need to know what to say. The only way out is to recognize the game. When you find a judgment arising about another, turn it around. Does what you see in others really belong to you? Is your vision clear or clouded by what you want to see? I mean, Osho, Zen, that's so good. So what do we add to this? I mean, we're seeing it everywhere. You know, I absolutely see it happening in politics and then in our individual reactions to what we're seeing in politics. It's happening in our, let's bring it down. Well, this is collective, right? This was my card for the collective. So yes, it's happening at an individual level, but the reason this card came forward for the collective now is because this is what we are discerning as a collective humanity. What's true? What's actually happening underneath all of this stuff in the middle? Who is this person and who is this person? And how do we have an eye-to-eye dialogue, soul to soul? How do we speak words that we know are the actual truth coming from this one and from this one? Not the thing we're throwing at each other to try and keep the masks, the facade up. Like, how do we get to the reality, the truth of the person underneath? And if this is our collective card, this is what all of humanity as a whole is working on. I mean, you can just feel how confusing it is to be a human right now. Who's talking? Who's talking? What are they saying? Is that really what they mean? Or are they just saying that because that's the game they're playing? And if I'm thinking this, well, is it about me? Is it about them? I mean, it's a hot mess in the collective. I was talking to my parents last night about just how confusing this time is, you know, not only for their generation and my generation, but for the generation coming after us, you know, high school, college students, how confusing this time must be. And my dad said, you know, I know how I feel watching all of this play out politically, just as one example. He said, I can't imagine how challenging that is for these young adults who are trying to figure out what's happening in the government. What is this country? What's this country all about? What's going on? It's a lot. It's a lot. And my advice in the podcast, if you haven't listened to it yet, maybe you want to tune into it. My advice in the podcast was just back up a little bit, pull yourself. Well, this is going to be the individual card, right? The courage card. It's pull yourself back a little bit from all this throwing of energy and expectations and judgments and crap. You know, instead of being in the middle of all that, can you back up a little bit and change your perspective, see the game for what it really is, and take an honest look at yourself. I said this in, I think it was the podcast, not from today, but from last week. If you are hearing the same message over and over from different people, you know, like you're too overwhelmed, or you're not listening to me, or you seem very angry, or you seem very sad, or whatever. I don't know how many messages are there we can get from people. There's a million. Whatever you seem to be hearing the most from other people, there's some reason that the same message is being brought to you over and over again. And so pay attention to that. What is the next level of your growth, of your moving through projections? It's to look at your own stuff. And so if people are reflecting to you the same message, there's something to that. So can you pause, back up a little bit, go inward, and hold that mirror very gently? There's a way that I believe when I say hold the mirror to yourself, it's like Snow White, where the queen is like, I don't like who I am. Kill the beautiful one. I don't like who I'm seeing in the mirror. We can turn that mirror, and we're so harsh on ourselves. We say the most hurtful, damaging things to ourselves, which is probably why we don't want to have that mirror looking at us. It's probably why we'd rather just project out at everybody else. Because when we turn and we look, sometimes we don't like what we see. And so my encouragement to you, and this card seems to be saying the same thing, turn the mirror and look, but do it with kindness. What's actually happening? What are these messages about that people are saying to you over and over? And can you gently be with that instead of whipping yourself and telling yourself how terrible you are? Can you look at it with a really tender heart and go, is that true? Do I do that? I had this experience. This is funny. I was just talking to my friend about it last week. I had this experience with my significant other, my husband, recently, a few months ago. It was during quarantine. And he pointed out a pattern to me that is very true. It's very true. I do it. I mean, I totally do it. I can be very passive aggressive. Look at me as I try to straighten out all the cards and not look at the camera. Not wanting to look. Oh, the cards are so pretty here. He said something about the way that I maneuver situations to make sure that what I want actually happens. And he said, you know, you'd save us all a whole bunch of time and trouble if you would just say what you want. What do you want? What do you want? And I was like, oh, ouch. But I do that. You're right. I absolutely do that. And it was in a way I could finally receive it because I was ready to receive the message. And then I was able to start changing that. I'm certainly not perfect. And I think he would agree. I think he would still agree that I'm not perfect, but I'm much better than I used to be. And it's something I'm focusing on in my own journey. As I'm thirsty, as I need water. How do I How do I say what I desire, what I want, what I choose to experience, and do it from a place of just this knowing and steadiness, and invite others to join me in doing that instead of pushing it or trying to work around it. Because how productive is that? People don't like feeling manipulated or coerced. They like to feel directly invited. So one example, right? My projection was, you do that to me, or you create that, or whatever my story was. And when we could drop all this and just have a conversation, I could become aware of what I do, and then I could choose to change it. So this is collectively where we're at and what's happening. The individual now is have the courage to do that. Have the courage. Like, if you look at this card, there's this little seed. Well, that's not true. That's like a little jewel or something. The seed must be somewhere down here. This tiny, I don't think that's the seed. Oh, I don't think so. I think it's down here, or all the way down here maybe. This flower has found its way through the cracks in the rock to come out and start to blossom. There's a great movie called Wall-E that's really about climate change and the end of the world. But in it, this little character has, I mean, it looks almost like this little green sprout that somehow makes it through all the trash heaps and the junk and the dust and dryness. It somehow finds a way through. And this card, I believe, is saying that to us, like, have the courage to emerge from this, what looks like being buried at the bottom of a pile of rocks, being weighed down by old structures. Can we use that example? Old structures, old walls, old limitations. Have the courage to follow this pull towards this light, this source of energy, and grow and blossom and be beautiful. This is Libra. Be beautiful. Like, find your own unique beauty. I love that it's a daisy too. Like, daisies just seem so optimistic and full of hope. You know, this message very much says, stop this, look inward, and then have the courage to crawl your way out of all that rubble and to be a beautiful, unique, living creation, which is really what this human journey is for, right? Be your own unique self. Yeah, I don't think I need to get into that more for the individual now. I think that you get it. You get it. All right, so the last card would be in this 3 that I'm pulling. The highest possibilities for the next lunar cycle. Oh my gosh, is that a praying mantis? I think it might be. That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay, the Innocence card. All right, new moon in Libra. We are beginning a new cycle today that's going to carry us all the way through till the middle of November. So by the time the next video is made, me sitting here with my cards, our elections in the United States will be complete, hopefully. Hopefully. Maybe I speak too soon. I am really hoping that by the next lunar cycle, we will have a president elected and the country will be at peace and all will have accepted that collective choice. That is one of my greatest intentions for this new lunar cycle. My crystals are like falling off my lap. We are going from this new moon towards our second new moon, second full moon in October in 2 weeks. And the intensity, I believe, of a month where we start with a full moon and we end with a full moon, it's amplifying illumination for us. And so here we are at this pause in the middle of that in Libra, and we have the possibility of setting new intentions. What if our intention is this, innocence? Because if you look, even though the card it says innocent, it is an old, wise person who is joyfully in the present moment, surrounded by beauty. See all of the flowers and the explosion of light? And the joy as this one just has a moment of interaction with that bean on its finger. Like, how incredible is that? What if this is our simple intention? I choose to move into the next lunar cycle with a sense of innocence, of wonder at this world, of connection with nature and light, of a steadiness in my own knowing. I don't have to get wisdom from anyone else. I know what I know. And my focus isn't on fighting with others or pushing. It's simply sitting here and being in communion with the moment. Like, how incredible would that be? Yeah, let me see if there's anything else I would add to that. I believe that is a major arcana card. It sure is. 21. Card 21. Carrying us into 2021. That's what I get out of that. Card number 40, or page number 40. Let me see if there's something I would like to read to you. Yeah. Here's what it says. The old man in this card radiates a childlike delight in the world. There is a sense of grace surrounding him, as if he is at home with himself and with what life has brought. He seems to be having a playful communication with the praying mantis. It is! It's a praying mantis. I'll tell you about that in a second. Praying mantis on his finger, as if the two of them are the greatest friends. The pink flowers cascading around him represent a time of letting go, relaxation, and sweetness. They are a response to his presence, a reflection of his own qualities. The innocence that comes from a deep experience of life is childlike, but not childish. The innocence of children is beautiful, but ignorant. It will be replaced by mistrust and doubt as the child grows and learns that the world can be a dangerous and threatening place. But the innocence of a life lived fully has the quality of wisdom and acceptance of the ever-changing wonder of life. That's so beautiful. All right, just a little praying mantis nugget. This is so funny. It's coming through right now. I had a dream. I had a dream. Don't you love when people start with that line? I had a dream a week and a half ago. It wasn't this Monday. It was the last Monday. And I woke up from the dream and I was so sad because in the dream I was with my friend, my beautiful friend Alicia, and we were just having fun, hanging out. We were in her town where she lives, and we were just like doing things, hanging out together and getting some food and talking, and just in this great connection, relationship, right? New Moon and Libra relationship. I was with one of my favorite people, and I saw this praying mantis near her, but it was big. It was like big, big praying mantis. And in the dream, I remember having this experience of like, I could see the shape and the face of the praying mantis so clearly. And I touched the cheek of the praying mantis. It was like it was green, like it looks here, but it was like a being, like an alien being. It was an insect, but it was like this big, out of this world experience thing. And I put my hand on its cheek like this, and we were just looking eye to eye. And it was, I just felt so flooded with love and peacefulness. It was just this beautiful moment in a dream where I felt like I crossed realities or dimensions. And I just had this moment with this being that we call an insect, a praying mantis. And then the dream shifted, and I was still with Alicia, but the praying mantis was gone. I couldn't find it anywhere. And she pulled out like a photograph of it, and she was showing me the photograph. And as we were looking at it, the photograph started to dissolve, and I can feel my throat choking up. And the praying mantis like disappeared. And in my dream, I was overwhelmingly shocked and so sad. And I just started crying. I'm like, wait, they can't go away. They can't leave. Why are they leaving? And I just had this grieving in my dream, crying and crying about how the praying mantis had died and they had all left. You know, it's like the dinosaurs, like all of a sudden all the praying mantis were gone. And I woke up so heavy-hearted and so concerned about the praying mantis, but on a much bigger level, about our world, about nature. You know, I'm looking outside right now and all the leaves are falling. It was just this connection to Gaia, Earth, through the image of the praying mantis. And I felt like, what's happening? You know, what is happening on this planet? And so I left this long message with Alicia and told her the whole dream. And she gave me this beautiful message back. She said, I feel like the praying mantis represents presence, being fully in the moment of the experience of being with this beautiful being, this beautiful insect that's looking at you. And so, you know, focus on that, like being present. Well, that's exactly what this card is. A week later, praying mantis. I never talk about praying mantis. I hardly ever even see them. I've never had a dream about them before. I looked up right after the dream. When I woke up, I looked up all these images because I wanted to find the image of exactly what that being looked like in my dream. And I found one that was so close, and it literally looked like, because praying mantis look like people. If you've seen their pictures, you know, with their legs and skinny arms, I mean, they look like little stick figure people. And I found an image. I'm like, oh, that's totally who I was communing with in my dream. So to have a praying mantis show up in this beautiful card called Innocence, which is about being present. It's about being present, being so here in the now moment that everything else drops away. Let's do that as we move through this next lunar cycle. Let's be really ultra present. Let's allow our dreams to inform and guide our waking lives. Let's allow all of it to blend and merge and create this incredible new way of walking through our human days. You know, where this wisdom, this knowing from other dimensions, it's here. It's here with us. I think for Libra energy, a lot of times, you know, we have this very, maybe this is a generalization, but we have this very human bank system weighing image. You know, we're going to have scales like justice, law. We're going to have the scales keep it all balanced, which is very much a human interpretation of balance of Libra. What if it's we're going to balance the scales of this soul infinite consciousness connection with this human 3D physical thing. We're gonna weave them together in a new way and allow the two to play differently. How cool is that? That'd be cool. And it's gonna be innocent, and we're gonna have this childlike wonder about it, but with the wisdom of what we've been learning in our journeys. Like, wow, that's cool. I can't believe there's a praying mantis. I mean, and I can't believe the first card was projections. I mean, seriously, so good. All right, we're going to wrap up with 2 more cards. I prepped both of my decks. I have 3 decks. Isn't that amazing? Like, I never even had one for most of my life. And then all my friends got the OSHO Zen deck at the same time. And well, maybe they haven't. I've memorized the deck. A couple of my friends have memorized it. I mean, we know all the cards. We know what they mean, you know. So when I got these 2 new decks, I've been having fun, and I don't know them very well. And it's kind of exciting to look at a card and go, yeah. So I'm going to pick 2 cards, wisdom from our guides. So the first deck is the Light Seers deck, and I'm going to split it. This is wisdom from our guides as we move into new moon in Libra energy and prepare for the next cycle, this next month that will carry us through until I'm back in this video space with you post elections, post whatever else is going to come up in this year of 2020. I don't know. Who knows a month from now what's going to have happened. We're going to pick card number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, it's beautiful. Look how beautiful that is. The 3 of Cups. We'll just read this and then I'll show you the other deck. Again, I don't know what these cards mean. And I don't know the traditional tarot because all I've ever played with is my Zen deck. So I'm assuming cups is like filling yourself up and receiving. You know, that feels very much about what are you willing to receive. When I look at this card, so wisdom from our guides, it feels like a reminder to play. Here we are in Libra energy. It's a reminder to play, to look at the stars, to get outside. Maybe this is a nudge from our guides to all of us, like, go outside tonight. It's a new moon. There will be no moon to block all the stars. Go look at the stars tonight. Sit outside and marvel at the magic of a universe where all these stars exist. And they're so far away from us, but we can see them. Like, isn't that incredible? I don't know the science, but I know if we were to study how far away they are and how fast the light must be burning and the fuel and all, I mean, it's a miracle to be able to sit outside. So I feel like this card is reminding us, and then also inviting us, you know, don't do it by yourself. Like, find a friend, sit with a few friends, find a neighbor. You don't have to sit right next to each other, and you can put a mask on, but go outside and look at the stars together. Let's take a pause from all of this quarantine, isolation, fear space, and get outside. Come back to the magic again of this human journey. You know, it's been a really intense, fear-filled year, and maybe it's time to have a little more play, a little more fun. If you trust those you're with, maybe it's time to hug. I really believe, you know, as a humanity, we are so touch deprived right now. And I'm not talking about sexual touch. I'm talking about physical, holding hands, putting your arms around someone who's suffering or feeling lonely. We are depriving ourselves of one of the most basic needs of a human being, which is to be touched. And so maybe this card is just a gentle reminder, like, it's okay. It's okay. Hold hands, get outside, look at the stars. Take a breath, you know? And also, look at that badass tattoo she has. Can you see that? With the spirals? I am so not into pain, so I have never considered getting a tattoo, but all I can think of when I see that is like, ow. And also, whoa, that's pretty awesome. That's a really cool symbol. So, okay, so Light Seers deck, and then our last card, Wisdom from Our Guides, number 2, is the Mystical Shaman Oracle deck. I mean, look at the eyes on the card or the cover of this book. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, I'm going to shuffle one more time. Let's see what we're going to take from the top of the deck, but I just feel like the cards need to move a little energy first because there's all kinds of goodness moving in this space. Okay, this is Wisdom from Our Guides. The wind. The wind. Card number 63, which adds up to a 9, which is about completion. Okay, when I've heard other people describe this card, they describe it as very turbulent or like there's a whirlwind that's happening. As I look at it today, what I notice, if you can see it, is how steady and peaceful and calm this one is, even with all of this happening. And it looks like there's, like she either has a crown of branches on or there's a tree behind her. Looks like she has kind of white war paint across instead of black across her nose. You know how when football players put that on, it's almost like she's got the opposite. I can see her hand holding something. I'm not sure what she's holding. Maybe she's just holding space. But even with everything happening, there, as my bing, even with everything happening, as my reminders go off. That's so funny, isn't it? Oh God, I just love that stuff. Ding, 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 with everything happening. Look how steady she is. She's like, you know, you got this. You got this. You got this. And she's also behind a lot of this activity. And what I said in today's podcast is sometimes you maybe need to take a step back. You need to remove yourself from some of the chaos for a little bit so that you can see it from a different perspective, so that you're, as my phone rings, so that you can see what's actually true. Like what is, well, the way I describe it in the podcast is, you know, feeling the steadiness of the ground underneath you and not getting swept away by everything. And if you're in the water and it's too deep, maybe you need to move backwards and find shallower ground. And as you do that, your steadiness becomes more familiar within you, and then you're ready to go back into the deep waters again. I don't know that the wind is ever going to stop swirling around us here in this physical human journey. I believe there will always be times where it feels chaotic and turbulent, and well, that's kind of limiting. Not always. For a while still, we are going to have some turbulence. And so find your steadiness, step back a little bit and get back into the wonder of who you are, the amazingness of who you are. Remember I said that gentle turning of the mirror to see yourself instead of, I don't like who I see. You know, just be kind. Yeah, I do those crazy things. Yeah, I have some of those patterns that maybe others don't love, and I'm working on it. You know, what if that's the way we talk to ourselves? I feel like if we can talk to ourselves that way, maybe it'll be easier to talk to other people that way too. Like, yeah, I see you struggling. I see you yelling at me or throwing all this energetic garbage at me. I see you doing that, and you know, it's okay. I don't have to receive it, and I also don't have to save or fix you, but I can have this compassion for you. You'll figure it out. We're all figuring it out. Yeah, so be peaceful, our guides. Be peaceful. Tune into Libra. Be balanced and steady in yourself, and go look at the stars. Go play. Go play. I love that they're in a field of like purple heather or purple, some sort of purple flowers. You know, it's just the colors in this card are beautiful. So beautiful. All right, so please stop projecting. Collective now, not you, the collective now. Stop projecting. Turn inward, look at your own stuff. Have the courage to look at your own things, and then be your beautiful self. Come up through the cracks and show us who you are. And let's hold the highest possibilities for this next month of true innocence, trusting that bridging of the subconscious, the collective magic of the universe, and then this physical human journey. New moon in Libra. I'm going to make a meditation next. If you are looking for some play, maybe as you're sitting outside looking at the stars, the meditation will be available later this afternoon on my website. So you can go to mysouljourney.com, and then under offerings, there's a tab called Astrology and Tarot, and the link will be there for the new moon meditation. Yeah, let's play a little more. All right, I will see you next month, post-elections. Here's sending a beautiful, peaceful, steady, integrity-filled voting for all of us here in America. So much love to you. Mwah.